Hi guys, welcome to another beer review, and it seems I've gone unintentionally fanboy today because Cloudwater, why did I say it like that? Cloudwater sweatshirt, which is looking a little bit too small for me. Breweries, you've got to sort out your sizes, by the way. And got my Cloudwater Craftmaster glass, is that what it's called? I don't know the name of glasses, I only know Teku, Snifter, what's it matter. And most importantly, of course, we're going to have a look at the Cloudwater W18 Brewed All Season Double Dry Hop Pale, clocking in at 5.5% ABV. Let's see, so canned on date was the 18th of February 2019. It's now the 5th of March, so relatively fresh. FFB freshest, I think that's the freshest date, is 14th of April 2019, and then best before date is the 11th of June 2019. And yeah, so finally getting around to reviewing this, because every time I've bought this can I've just drank it, and I've had it a couple of times at the Cloudwater tap as well. And yeah, a big shout out to Paul and the rest of Cloudwater, and of course to all the volunteers who managed to save the festival. The friends and family, I think, I can't remember what the festival was called. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. And do you see that? Do you see that unfortunate lighting showing my my bosoms? Yeah, it was unfortunate because it looked really fantastic. The lineup was absolutely wonderful, and the fringe events as well. But unfortunately, I couldn't go because money was going to different things and blah, 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 blah. We've all been there. And yeah, first day, apparently really successful. And then pretty much Paul got the bad news that, unfortunately, the event they wanted for the second day didn't have a licence. And thankfully, Manchester, I mean, come on, it's the greatest city in the world, let's be honest. And the craft beer community, one of the greatest of the sort of hobby communities, especially that I've been part of. And yeah, everyone came together and they managed to pull it off. I'm not too sure about the ins and outs of it because I didn't really read the follow-up to it, but yeah, it's just great to see. Moral of the story, that everyone involved overcame what was going to be an absolute catastrophe. And yeah, I'm just really glad that it went ahead, and it seems that the second day was even more successful. So yeah, big shout out to everyone involved, even though unfortunately I wasn't able to go. Although I did go to Manchester on the following Sunday because I had a day off. I was bored, and yeah, had a look around, and I could still see a lot of volunteers with hangovers in the various places that I was drinking. So yeah, I can guarantee everyone who went had a wonderful weekend. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. So yeah, sort of a core range beer, I think you'd say. And Cloudwater have seemed to have come on. I mean, I was going to say leaps and bounds, but it's not as if they just, you know, were festering and then all of a sudden came big. I think as soon as they really hit the scene, got the ball rolling with all the hazy sort of beers and the IPAs and pale ales, and of course there were rotational sort of beers and seasonal beers. But it's good to see how they've changed and developed, and yeah, I think they're doing really fantastic. Some of my favourite beers from Cloudwater have been their lagers. I mean, the Doppelschwarz that I had this year was probably, I know we're only in March, but could be beer of the year. And it's going to take a lot to knock that off. But yeah, I mean, some of the pales I've had, I'm not going to lie, there was a point where, you know, especially like the DDH, BBC, Cryo, blah, 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 where there was no real description of the beer. A lot of the times I tried them, all very good, but not really distinguishable from one another. I think that's a danger with the style in general, so it's not as if it's just Cloudwater who had that issue, but again, it's my own opinion. Who the fuck cares at the end of the day? I think the fact that they've grown so much speaks volumes about the brewery, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the beers, always have, but I'm glad to see that they've sort of taken a step back, it would seem, and I mean, they're still churning out loads of beers, but it's great to see that they're doing stuff like this, which they've probably done it. I've not really picked up on it, but yeah, it's nice to see they're a little bit more grounded, and of course they've got premises in London, so yeah, and it's always a pleasure reading Paul's blog as well. He's got a good head on his shoulders, that lad. Anyway, why did I say that? Didn't really need to. So, should we just get on with the beer? So, our all-season DDH Pale provides a balance between a juicy, full-bodied IPA and an easy-drinking pale. DDH means this pale has been double dry hopped, using twice the amount of hops as our standard pale. Thick peach and grapefruit flavours are carried by a smooth body with a juicy tang and a peppery character on the finish. Now, of course, you've got all the flavouring notes, which I'm not going to really take any notice of. And 5.5% ABV, and artwork is coming from, and I do apologise because I know I'm going to absolutely butcher this pronunciation, Nizaket Sinanovska. That's what I'm going to go with. Links down below. Anyway, pick this up from Northern Beer Temple. One of the places where I was really, outside of going to Manchester, was one of the places that I could pick up Cloudwater, and still can do on a regular basis. And it's smelling pungent already. And yeah, Northern Beer Temple, I've waffled on about that shop plenty of times. If you've not been and you're in the Wigan area, do yourselves a favour, pop in. You're guaranteed to come out with spending a bit more than you want to, just because you're going to buy a lot more than you initially wanted to. Anyway, so let's get this poured and see what we get. And yeah, I think I paid about £4.40 for this, which is not too bad at all. Was it £4.40? Yeah. So it's basically £1 for every 110 millilitres. So it's almost like pretty much what you pay for a taster, I suppose. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's at that price where you could justify picking up 3 or 4 times pick 3 or 4 cans every time you see it. Spoiler alert, I like this beer, so you can stop watching the review now if you so wish. Anyway, so beer in a glass, and it's got that lovely pale hazy sort of peach compote look to it. It just looks dense and rich, doesn't it? It gets a little bit more chalky towards the shaft of the glass. But yeah, it's just such a pretty looking beer. And the head is slightly off-white because of, I can imagine the colour sort of bleeding into the head there. But it definitely looks at home in this glass. So yeah, it looks fantastic. All I'm missing now is a beanie, because I have got a Cloudwater t-shirt, but it's a little bit too small and a tiny bit see-through. And nobody needs to see that. Anyway, so looks fantastic. Let's give it a swirl and see what we get in the nose. Just loads of like breakfast fruit juice aroma. It still blows my mind how a hop, a plant, vegetation, well, I suppose vegetation, fruit could be classed there anyway. Terrible point to make, but it's amazing how these little leaves and in pellets can create genuine fruit aromas and flavours. Because this is smelling like mango. There's a little bit of pineapple in there, blood orange grapefruit, a little bit of a sweet pink grapefruit vibe as well. Very subtle hint of lychee. Oh yes, nice and sweet, juicy. So let's give it a taste. Cheers, guys. It's just so satisfying to drink. It really, really is. It's got a little bit more of a bitterness throughout, so it's also got that sort of like loads of grapefruit I'm getting, like the aftermath of grapefruit. So it's not too sweet. It's not too, bright, which is nice every now and then. But I like to have, the sensation that you're actually drinking a beer every now and then. But yeah, ridiculously drinkable, beautiful, bold, silky, creamy mouthfeel. I'm gonna get interrupted, so bear with me 1 second. so glad that I can pause videos mid-recording. Am I actually unpaused it? Yes, I have. Yeah, it's not too sweet. It's got juiciness, but it's got a grounded bitterness, and you get the malts in there, lovely crisp, slightly cracker-like malts coming through. Lovely residual bitterness on the back end. It's not as chilled down as I'd like it to be, but it's still tasting absolutely fantastic. It's probably warmed up considerably since the start of this review because of how much bullshit I've been talking. But yeah, it's just so satisfying, really. Is it Cloudwater's finest work? No. Is it the most bombastic entry into their back catalogue? No. It's just, for a quote-unquote core beer, it's just so ridiculously drinkable. It's one of those beers where you'll go to like the Cloudwater tap room and you'll try that one of the 2 special releases or seasonals, and then you're gonna instantly go get yourself like a couple of thirds of this as well. For the price, fantastic value. Of course, me being only a 20 minutes, about 30-40 minutes train ride, depending on how many stops they have, I'm going to pay a little bit cheaper than someone who's down south, although you're probably paying maybe a little bit cheaper because of if you bought it from the premises they have in London. But yeah, this is one of those beers that I could just go to time and time again, and I have done. And yeah, it just such great value for money, and it really showcases what Cloudwater can do. And yeah, it's just fantastic. It really, really is. I was gonna try and save some for when I'm cooking, because I'm doing some chicken schnitzel, but this is gonna go before I'm even downstairs, because it's just so tasty. It's the satisfaction you get from it. It's gentle. The only slight harshness is that bitterness, but that's so welcome in this sort of subcategory of IPA that it just becomes so sickly sweet sometimes. But yeah, it's beautifully balanced, really nicely rounded. It cuts that balance of IPA and Pale Ale perfectly. Beautiful mouthfeel. And yeah, it's just tasting absolutely peng. So let's see, juicy tangerine and zesty grapefruit on the nose with white peach and resinous hop notes. So medium-bodied and velvety with soft carbonation, definitely. And lingering juicy orange and peach with a light peppery bitterness. You know exactly what you're getting. And yeah, you'll want to drink this time and time again. So in terms of a rating, I can't pick out any faults. I really can't pick out any faults. So it's a 10 out of 10. I know I throw them out, but I always base my ratings on how satisfying and wonderful the beer is at that time. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here or stand here justifying why I gave it a 10 out of 10, because that's my palate. Some people might drink this and think, oh, Cloudwater could do much better, or some people might think this is the best thing Cloudwater have ever released. But if you just want a satisfying drinking experience that delivers, and delivers so much more than it promises, then this is definitely one for you. So if you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. Check out Cloudwater, check out Northern Beer Temple. I think quite a few of my friends and fellow beer tubers have reviewed this on, so their links will be down below. And yeah, if I remember to, I'll put the Cloudwater playlist down below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers.